Hey crafty friends, this is Chelsea. Welcome to day one of the Creative Design Team's Days of December collaboration. Make sure you keep watching all week long because there will be a new video each day. The playlist will be linked at the end of this video and down below. So I've created December albums for quite a few years now. I think this will be my 9th one this year. This is my 2021 that I'm showing you, just to kind of give you an idea of my style. Typically in my scrapbooking style, I like to jazz things up. I like lots of techniques, layers. I like to keep things interesting. But when it comes to December daily and December albums, I find simpler is better. I actually finish them. They get completed. And if I try and make it too complicated, it just doesn't happen. So I find by keeping it simple, having some embellishment to like satisfy that crafty side of me, I have some things that are a little bit interactive, but definitely nothing crazy. It lets me get some crafting done, but also focus on the photos, focus on the story, and I really like that balance in my albums. So I posted a video already this year talking about how I want to keep my project simpler, and I have started. So I made a couple of layouts in that video. I will link it down below. It also shows all the products and stuff that I plan on using. Of course, that can evolve as you go, right? So I have made a title page. I used a SVG from Paige Evans and I backed it. I did the outline in gold glitter, and then I cut a solid layer with black cardstock just so I had a nice back to it that looked clean. And I actually filmed the process of making this for the Creative Design Team Creatives membership group. So that will be posting sometime in December. And it kind of shows the whole process of how I cut out all the layers, how I did it in Design Space to create this. Now, I wouldn't have gone to all that work if I would have known that Andrea actually created something similar to this, and we are actually giving that away. So it's not exactly the same, but it's the same sort of die cut page like this. I'm going to have a link down the description box for you guys, and that will have the Design Space file link for this or a similar version to this, and then also a couple of calendar options. So I designed this single page calendar in Cricut Design Space. This is done with the Cricut pens. The December won't be on there because I created that with a system font because there was a certain one that I wanted to use. But this was all done with Cricut fonts that are free. So you will be able to go in there and cut and do the printing if you have a Cricut pen. And then Julie also designed one that is a double page spread with larger boxes. So if you have things that you want to put in the boxes, like little photos or more design kind of elements, hers will be in there for you as well. And that is all free. So I will have the link down the description if you want to go and access those. Now for my calendar, I don't want to fill it in beforehand. So I was thinking about, like penciling in things I know we're planning on doing. But to be honest, our schedule changes so much. I don't even have my December glued down. It's just floating in there. But our schedule changes so much. So I might wait until like closer to the end of the month before I go and write things in. I'm probably going to do a little bit of stamping. I have some fairly small little Christmas stamps, so I'll go in and decorate it a little bit. But I like having that overview in here, even when I'm just creating, so that I can see how the month lays out. And then over here, so behind this, I'm going to have a 6x8 photo. I have not taken any really nice photos that I want to blow up to 6x8 yet, so that's why this is blank. I'm also going to put the year on it, either by die cutting something on my Cricut with the year, or maybe just in Canva or something, overlaying the year onto my photo that way. And then right here is where day one is going to go. We're going to build that in today's video. And then if you watched my last video, this was day 2. So all of this work was done. I just went in and printed out the photo, trimmed it down, added my 2, added my journaling, and it was done. I love how using sketches makes it so easy. You might be like, okay, what sketches are you using? The Creative Design Team has made this sketchbook. I actually did get mine printed. Last time I did a video, I was just looking at it on my computer, but I did send the file out to Staples to get it printed and bound, which is really awesome. I got some clear covers put on it, which is really nice. There's some prompts in there if you're looking for ideas on what to document, and all the measurements are included as well, which is great. I love that there's measurements. It makes it so easy to just pick a page, cut out your paper to those measurements, and then move on. And then I have the start of day 4. So I haven't done day 3 yet, although I know what's going there. I just need to print the photos. And then I've started day 4, and I'm also going to work on this spread. I haven't done this one yet because we are only on like day 4 now, so I haven't printed any more photos. It has not happened yet. That is still the future. But I do need to cut a slit in my page protector for this tag to go behind the photo mat. This was also created in the last video. So other than that, I have not done anything other than putting some page protectors in here. I decided that I really like alternating between 6x8, 4x6, and 3x4s. And so I went in and just kind of put them in order, kind of figured out how I wanted the days to fall. I even just grabbed a notebook, made a rough list so I could see what sizes, because whatever I put on one side, that affects what's going to be on the back side, right? So if day 7 is a 4x6, then day 8 needs to be a 4x6 because it's the back side. I will also probably do some fun inserts, but I don't usually finish my album until into January. So you guys will have to come back in January to see how the whole album comes together. I'm not planning on doing a whole bunch of process videos. This will probably be my last video until you see the finished one in January. All right, so let's start off with the pages. I have a piece of 6x8 pine cardstock here. And if you have the sketchbook and you are following along, I am on page 18. That is the sketch that I'm using for today. Basically, I just chose it because I loved how it was all laid out, and I knew I wanted to use a 4x6 photo. I trimmed this down slightly because I always like to have a 4x6 photo mat, and then I just trimmed down either 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch, and that is going to be going on there like that. And then I have this very neutral, kind of florally, greenery type paper with just gray and French vanilla, which is an off-white. And then I cut one of the branding strips, little zip strips, that has this really nice black and white plaid, and that is going to go next to it. All right, so what I'm going to do is just start sticking things down. I just went by the measurements that were in there, and of course I'll make adjustments as needed if I want to do something a little bit different on my page. I'm not afraid to do that. We are still pretty early in the month, so if you haven't decided yet whether or not you want to do a December project, I encourage you to go ahead and do it. I know I hear from a lot of people that they just don't think there's enough holiday type things that they do or interesting things that they do, but I really don't think that should stop you. I made many albums before I had a kid. So now, yes, my book is going to be full of cute little toddler pictures and all the fun things that we're doing and all the Christmas tradition firsts. I think this year is going to have a lot of first tradition documentation in it. But it was not always that way. I did several years. Let me see, probably 3, 4, 5 albums are without any kids in it, except for like brief appearances from my nieces and nephew. But even if you feel like, nothing changes in your life, right? Things are always the same. We do the same things over and over and over again. They do change. I was actually looking through one of my older albums, and then I started looking through all of them, and I was shocked to see that, there's a Christmas where that grandparent was no longer with us, and then there's the next one where the next grandparent was gone, and oh, look, there the babies start arriving, and there's all their first Christmases, and things do change even if it feels like they don't. you know, you change houses, you change cities. My parents moved from my childhood home, and that was actually the house that my dad grew up in. So now our Christmas photos look very different because they're in a whole new house. And just things like that, it's interesting to look back over time. And even when it feels like things don't majorly change, you do the same things year after year, they do change, I promise. Okay, so I have my circle here for my date, which I told you, I kind of showed you that whole thing in my first video. And I have made myself a little tray here. I went ahead and die cut all of these. I used a thin cut, so a stitch die for the French vanilla, and then I cut the gold circles actually on my Cricut because it was faster, but I wanted that stitched edge, so I had to do a die cut for those. And then I also cut out some pieces on my Cricut for these poinsettias. This was actually a flower from the Comfort and Joy Cricut collection by Close to My Heart. Close to My Heart and Cricut are no longer making collections together, so you can actually find this just by the item number too. So I'm going to put the number so you can search it in Design Space and just purchase that one flower if you want to. That's what I did. So I will put that down in the description box along with all the other supplies that I'm using. And then my numbers, these are actually the same numbers that I used last year. I just cut them out in a different paper last year, but they were already the perfect size. They fit on here perfectly. I didn't need to size anything, so I just cut them in black core, black cardstock. It's nice and neutral. It will go with everything, and I can always switch it up if I'm tired of the black. I decide I want to use some red or green or whatever, but I just thought black was easy. I know that these three colors will go with everything on any of my pages. And I love having all my pieces here in a tray where I can find it as I'm working on pages. I also have this liquid pearls. This is in the Carnation Red, and I am just using this for these little branches that are part of the Cricut cut. And I just went ahead and put pearls on here and then let that dry. So I'm probably going to go ahead and do the rest of them that are in there, and then they will be ready to use whenever I want to use them. For my little glitter branches here, I used the Christmas Story card making workshop. It came with these thin cuts. I believe this is sold out now, unfortunately. It was pretty popular, so it went really fast. But I cut these out of pine cardstock, and I'm going to be using that with my little floral clusters. Now I printed my journaling. I will be doing several things, like I'm going to print some journaling, I'm going to handwrite some journaling. As you saw on day 2, I hand wrote it. I don't have a problem doing that. It just depends how much I need to say, and I cannot write that small. So some of them will be printed, and I use the Stitched Fancy brackets, the smallest one, to cut that out, and it fit perfectly. I didn't even plan that. I looked for a die after I had already printed this, and it just so happened it worked out perfectly. So I'm going to go ahead and work on my little flower here. I'm grabbing my Versamat here, and I flipped it over to the spongy side because you want something with a little bit of cushion, whether that's a mouse pad or a piece of foam or something. And I'm using my paper crafting tool. This can be used for like prying up things that are stuck down, but I'm using it to draw little veins and lines on my flowers just to add a little bit more detail and interest to them. Okay, hopefully if I tilt that, you can kind of see the lines there. It's subtle, but it adds just a little bit of texture and interest. If you have dies that like cut them out and also impress lines into them, that works great as well. I don't, so I am just using my little tool here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and then assemble my flower. So after adding all those little vein lines on my flowers, I'm just going around and folding the two sides up. I don't want anything too crazy dimensional in my album. I like to keep things fairly flat because there's a lot of pages that need to go in here, since I like to go right to the end of the month to 31 days. So now that I have them with just a little bit of dimension to them, add a little bit of shape, I'm going to glue them together with a little dot of glue in the middle, and I'm just offsetting those petals as I go. There is a gold glitter flower center. I'm just holding there to make sure that glue tacks up. And then I can start placing everything on my page. I like to place my flowers first and then tuck the greenery in and any other branches and things, and then add my glue. So I have everything stuck now. The number, the journaling, the flower, all that is stuck down. I'm adding these 2 stickers. It says Christmas Countdown. That's from the coordinating sticker sheet from this collection. And I also decided to add one more little branch because I felt like it was just a little too empty. So I die cut another one and just cut one branch off. And I'm just tucking it under there to fill it out a little bit more. I decided this page needed a little bit more bling, so I'm bringing in more of that gold. I found some little gold stars on the sticker sheet. So I have a little one down there by the sticker that says Countdown. And then I picked a larger one and I'm putting that up there by the number. Just trying to decide the exact location. And then I'll put another mini one up at the top so I have that nice visual triangle. Okay, I'm going to call this one done. Not too complicated. And then we will go on to the next one. Okay, before we get started on the next page, I have some exciting news for you. The Creative Design Team membership is open for registration starting today. If you enjoy our YouTube videos, I think you're going to love the membership. There's a new class every week, as well as a helpful tip video and monthly challenges. If you're looking for new ideas, inspiration, and creative motivation, the CDT membership could be the perfect Christmas gift to yourself. Registration closes December 16th, and I will link everything you need below so you can go check it out. Back to my December daily. Day 4 is going to be in a pocket page, and I have gone ahead and followed the sketch. There are sketches for the 3x4 and 4x6 page protectors, and this one has journaling going all the way down the left-hand side. There should be another photo in that top right corner, but I just have not printed it yet. So there will be another photo coming. I have gone ahead and typed out my journaling. I had quite a lot to say. This is all about putting up the Christmas tree, Isabella getting to decorate the tree for the first time, and that was pretty exciting. So I cut down my journaling and just kind of like figuring out placement. In the sketch, the number's supposed to go at the top, but it just didn't work out with the way I had split my journaling, and rather than reprint, I figured I will just switch around my page to suit what I have. So I moved my number to the bottom, and that actually worked quite perfectly. But then I had this blank space at the top, so I thought I could use this sticker. It says Christmas Traditions on it, and I'm thinking I'll put it on some foam tape and pop it up there at the top. So I went ahead and adhered everything off camera, and I was looking at this and I feel like I need something beside my journaling there. I liked that Christmas Traditions up at the top, but they were looking a little bare, so I decided to cut an 1/8 of an inch strip of gold glitter paper and put that on both sides. All right, so this is what I came up with. I got the glitter paper stuck down. The larger kind of blank red area was bothering me, so I found a little sticker on the sticker sheet that said every year Christmas Traditions, because this is the start of a new tradition that we're going to do every year. I thought that made a lot of sense. It is in the harbor color, which I don't have any other harbor on this page, but it's a subtle enough color. I think it will be fine. That's the only one, and if it bothers me, I'll try and work some in either with like a sticker on one of my photos or something, right? We can always make additions later. I still need to print another photo for in here, but I also wanted to try something new. I like putting kind of like extra photos and things into my albums and finding different ways to do that. So since I am sticking with page protectors, I thought flip flaps might be a good idea. So flip flaps usually stick in your book. They have an adhesive strip. You peel it off. You can stick them in your albums, on top of your page protectors, or on top of your pages to create an extra flap. But I thought, what if I turned this into a page? So I have a piece of the pattern paper here that I scored in half. I think this is 1 1/4 inches. Maybe I should measure that for you. Yeah, 1 1/4 inches. And then the length measurement is a little bit wonky. It's 6 3/8. I just tried to make it the same height as my flip flap, and I can always trim it off if I need to. Then I took score tape and put it on the other side. So basically I'm going to sandwich this into here, and then I'm going to punch holes in this. And we'll see how that works. There is that little score line, which I folded just now, and I probably shouldn't have done that. But I guess I could grab a new flip flap. But I'm hoping that this will work really good just as a way to add extra photos into my album. So flip flaps come like this in all different sizes. There's adhesive along the top on some of them, or adhesive along the side, and I am using those side load ones for this project. So I'm just peeling that adhesive off one side at a time. I'm going to stick it down into my scored piece of pattern paper, get it right up to the fold line, and then just press it down. Then I'll flip it over, peel off the other side, and stick that one down. I like the idea of having this protected. My daughter has decided that she loves looking through my albums, and I feel a little bit more secure having everything behind page protectors. So I'm going to pop this little card in there. It's probably not going to stay here. I'm probably going to fill this with photos of us decorating the tree, but it's easier for you guys to see what I'm doing when there's something in there. Now I'm lining this up with my regular page protectors, and I am just making sure it's flush with the edge there, and then I just want to center my holes so that it will be even. And then I'm going to grab a pencil and just outline those holes. It's a little bit easier than trying to hold these two pieces together and punch at the same time. Now I'm grabbing just like a regular hole punch, and that's actually the exact same size as the page protector, so it works great. And I'm just punching those out, and this will slip into my album super easily. Here is my album. Title page, day 1. Doesn't that look so nice in there? Oh, I love it. All right, so there's day 2. So we want to go in here. This is day 4. And by the way, this story did not happen in December. This was at the end of November when we put up our tree. But I want to include it in my December daily, so I'm putting it fairly early in the month. I know Allie does the same thing. She includes stories that happen in November in her December album. I don't really think it's a big deal, and it is all part of my Christmas story, and I don't want to leave out putting up my tree and putting up Christmas lights, even if they happen in November. We had like a little festival in our town with fireworks and stuff, and that is going to be going in here pretty soon too. I like to keep those things for when I have an open day, maybe where nothing happened, and I will pop them into the album. I'm seriously so happy with how these pages are coming along so far. I can't wait to show you the finished album in January. Make sure you check out all the other creative design team members. Like I said, there will be a video each day. And so make sure you check out our playlist and keep coming back to watch all of the videos. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.